Grace over 50. Welcome back to the place where beauty grows deeper with time. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stood in front of the mirror one morning? Your fingers gently brushing against a hairstyle you've worn for years, maybe even decades. It's familiar, it's safe, it feels like you, or at least it used to. But then a quiet little voice inside begins to whisper. One you've maybe ignored for a while. A simple question that carries more weight than it seems. Am I holding on to a version of myself that no longer fits who I am today? Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't about not being beautiful. This isn't about age. This is about something deeper because you've changed, you've lived. You've loved, you've struggled, you've grown, but your hair might still be telling an old story. And the truth is, some hairstyles, though iconic in their time, aren't serving us anymore. They don't highlight our beauty. They mute it. Maybe you've felt it in the way your reflection doesn't quite match how vibrant you feel inside, or in the kind, cautious smile from your granddaughter when she says, "Your hair looks nice, Grandma." She means well, of course she does. But deep down, you know what she's not saying. You can feel it in the pause, in the sweet, polite tone, something's off. The truth, some hairstyles age us, not because we're older, but because they anchor us to the past, when we've already stepped into a new version of ourselves. And here's what I want you to know. You haven't given up on yourself, not for 1 second. You've just been giving so much to others. Family, loved ones, life. That maybe, just maybe, you forgot to check in on your own reflection. Well, today is that moment, not to judge, not to criticize, but to reconnect gently, lovingly with the woman you are today, because your hair should reflect your now, not your then. This isn't about trendy cuts or chasing youth. This is about feeling alive in your own skin, feeling seen, feeling radiant, and letting your outer style catch up to the depth and grace you carry inside. So if you've ever felt like your hairstyle might be holding you back, if you're ready for something that honors where you've been, but celebrates where you are now, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 hairstyles that, while once beloved, might now be quietly adding years, not charm. But don't worry. We're not just pointing out what to let go of. We're here to build something beautiful in its place. I'll be showing you softer, more flattering alternatives. Cuts that move, breathe, and bring your features to life. Styles that reflect the confident, elegant, modern woman you are right now. Because grace doesn't expire, elegance doesn't fade, and style belongs to the woman who knows herself, not to the number on her birth certificate. So if that message speaks to you, if you believe beauty only gets deeper with time, and you're ready to feel refreshed, empowered, and yes, still absolutely stunning, then I invite you to join me. Drop a comment below, tell me what your hair has meant to you through the years, what you've loved, what you're ready to leave behind, and what you want it to say moving forward. And don't forget to hit subscribe. We've built a beautiful little community here, full of timeless style tips, self-confidence boosters, and stories from women just like you. Women who know that life after 50 isn't a winding down. It's a rising up. So take a deep breath, look in that mirror, and ask yourself, is it time to let my hair catch up to who I've become? If the answer is yes, then let's begin. There's something almost sacred about the relationship a woman has with her hair. It's not just strands and layers, it's memory, it's identity. It's the way we first saw ourselves as little girls playing dress up, and the way we presented ourselves as women stepping into the world. Hair has been with us through it all. Through our bold choices, heartbreak recoveries, job interviews, weddings, funerals, and quiet mornings alone with a cup of coffee and a mirror. But here's the truth we don't often say out loud. Sometimes the very hairstyle that once made us feel most like ourselves becomes the thing that holds us back from who we are now. Not because we failed to evolve, but because we evolved quietly. We evolved while caring for others, while putting children, husbands, parents, careers first, and in all that giving, we forgot to revisit our own reflection. We got used to saying, "Oh, just the usual," when we sat in that salon chair every 6 weeks, because it was easier, because it was familiar, because it was safe. But safe doesn't always mean right, let's be honest. Some of us are still wearing hairstyles from 1997 or 1987. Not because they still suit us, but because that was the last time someone told us we looked amazing. And we clung to that moment like it was a life raft. And we kept repeating it, hoping to recapture that sparkle, that lift, that magic. But here's the hard part. Hair doesn't freeze time, and when it tries, it often works against us. Some styles, no matter how iconic, don't translate well into our present lives. They stiffen our energy, they weigh us down, they mute our glow because while our faces have softened, our wisdom deepened, and our presence grown stronger, our hair might still be whispering a story we no longer want to tell. And yes, I know, it's not easy to let go. It's not just about hair. It's about letting go of a version of ourselves we've held onto. Through marriage, divorce, motherhood, caregiving, retirement. Maybe through loss, maybe through survival. It's about grieving who we were, so we can finally celebrate who we've become. But here's the beauty in that. When we update our hair, we're not trying to look younger. We're allowing our outer self to catch up with our inner evolution. We're saying, I'm still here, and I deserve to be seen clearly. Because the problem with certain hairstyles isn't just their shape or age, it's the message they send. A helmet-like spray-to-perfection cut says, I'm protecting myself from change. A severe boy cut says, I've given up on softness. An overly long, lifeless style whispers, I'm holding on even if it's slipping through my fingers. Blunt, heavy bangs might try to say, look at my eyes. But they scream, don't look at my forehead. And stiff, overly styled waves, they no longer say polished. They say preserved. And you, my friend, you are not a museum piece. You are alive, you are breathing, laughing, loving, learning still. And your hair should move with you, not freeze you in place. So before we even talk about specific cuts, before we go into what works and what doesn't, we need to ask ourselves something deeper. Why am I still holding on to this? What am I afraid will happen if I change? What would it feel like to be truly seen today? Because style after 50, after 60, isn't about chasing trends, it's about alignment. It's about standing in front of that mirror and finally seeing the woman who's there, instead of chasing the ghost of who you once were. And here's what I promise you: when you release what no longer serves you, even something as simple as a haircut, you open up space for something else to emerge. Something softer, something bolder, something wiser. You're not trying to look 30. You're trying to look like the best version of you right now, because let's be honest. The lines on your face, you earn them. The silver strands in your hair, they're a crown of resilience. But none of that can shine if your haircut is hiding it all under a shell, or drowning it in heaviness, or flattening it into invisibility. So today, we don't make over, we reclaim. We don't try to fit into anyone's standard of youthful beauty. We define beauty on our own terms. We don't try to turn back time. We move forward with grace and great hair, because your hair isn't just part of your appearance. It's part of your voice, and I want your voice to be heard. Clear, strong, beautiful, now that we understand what's been holding us back. It's time to talk about what to let go of, and what to embrace instead. Are you ready? Then let's begin. When we let go of what no longer serves us, we open the door to something better. And now that we've opened that door, let's walk through it together. Let's take a look, an honest, loving look at a few hairstyles that may be quietly aging us. Not because of our age, but because they no longer align with the woman we've become. This is not about judgment. It's about awareness, and from awareness comes possibility. So today we won't just talk about what's no longer working. We'll explore what works beautifully instead. Styles that speak your strength, reflect your softness, and remind the world that confidence is timeless. Let's begin. 1. The helmet hair frozen in time. You know the one. Tightly curled, heavily sprayed, not a strand out of place. It doesn't move because it's not meant to. Once upon a time, this style was polished, proper, powerful. It told the world, I take care of myself. But today, it tells a different story. It says, I haven't changed my look since 1983. It says, I'm afraid to let go. And most of all, it says nothing about who you are now. This kind of styling hardens the face. It shadows the light from your skin. It holds you in place when you were meant to move. But here's the truth, you don't need to lose volume to gain grace. Try a soft, layered bob instead. Something chin length or just below with gentle movement. Ask for feathered ends that frame the face and bring attention to your cheekbones. The result? Youthful, effortless, elegant. You still get the volume you love, just without the stiffness. A round brush, a gentle blowout, and a touch of styling cream. That's all it takes. You're not going to war, you're going to brunch. Let your hair be free because you are too. The ultra short boy cut, sharp but not soft. It's marketed as practical, low maintenance, easy, efficient, and for many women that's enough, but what's easy isn't always flattering. This kind of ultra short crop can remove all softness from the face. No layers, no fringe, no warmth. It draws the eye to every hard line and erases the gentle curves that make us who we are. Now don't misunderstand, short hair can be stunning. A pixie cut can be playful, powerful, even magnetic, but it needs to have shape, volume, and intention. Try a softly layered pixie. Keep the crown full. Add side-swept bangs or a gentle wave at the front. Let the edges stay wispy instead of harsh. The difference? The style still says confidence. But now it also says, I'm here, I'm present, I'm radiant. And don't underestimate the power of a great pair of earrings with short hair. It's not about showing less. It's about showing your best. Short can be beautiful, just make sure it reflects your soul, not just your schedule. 3. The long, lifeless length, holding on too tightly. Long hair is often tied to identity, to youth, to femininity, and to the idea that we haven't given up, but sometimes the very thing we're holding onto is the thing that's holding us back. When hair becomes thin, heavy, or shapeless, it pulls the face downward, it dulls your glow, it says I'm stuck instead of I'm strong. Length without life is just weight. Instead, try a collarbone length cut, the modern lob. Add subtle layers for softness. Create movement with light waves or volume at the crown. This shape frames the jawline, lifts the cheeks, and gives your hair a sense of direction. It says, I know who I am, and I'm not afraid to be seen. If your hair is thinning, don't panic. Volumizing mousse, dry texture spray, even lowlights can add depth and fullness without going overboard. Keep the grace, keep the beauty, but let go of what no longer brings you joy. 4. The heavy blunt bangs, too much of a good thing. We often think bangs are the answer. They hide lines, draw attention to the eyes, add a bit of flair, but blunt, heavy bangs often do more harm than good. They create a visual block across the face, they shrink your features, and they demand constant upkeep. More often than not, they don't add youth. They add stress. Consider soft, side-swept bangs instead. Or long curtain bangs that gently part in the center. They frame the face without dividing it. They highlight your eyes and cheekbones without shouting for attention. And the best part, they grow out gracefully. There's nothing wrong with bangs. But they should move with you, not fight your features. Choose softness. Choose shape. Choose something that whispers elegance, not effort. 5. The overstyled set, perfectly polished but lifeless. There's a fine line between styled and stiff, between elegant and overdone. Hair that's teased, curled, sprayed, and frozen in place may have been fashionable once, but today it reads as rehearsed. It looks like something you put on, not something that belongs to you. Your hair shouldn't feel like a performance. Opt for a softer, more modern finish. Think air-dried waves, a gentle blow-dry. Use a light texturizing spray for movement rather than freeze-frame control. Let a few pieces fall. Let the wind have its say. Let your beauty breathe, because beauty today isn't about perfection, it's about presence. And there is nothing more magnetic than a woman who has nothing to prove, but still chooses to shine. Every haircut you've worn in the past, every style tells a story. Some still belong to you, some have served their purpose. What matters now is what you choose moving forward. Let your hair move with your life. Let it grow, change, soften, rise. Let it reflect not who you were, but who you are now, because you, dear friend, are not a relic of the past. You are a force of grace in motion. Let your haircut speak that truth softly, clearly, and without apology. And now, as we begin to let go of the old, Let me tell you a story of a woman who made that choice and found something powerful on the other side. Let's go there next. Her name is Eivelyn. She's 64, retired school teacher, widowed 8 years, grandmother of 4, daughter, mother, friend. She's lived a beautiful life full of chapters, some bright, some painful. A life of small victories, quiet strength, and steady love. But for the longest time, Eivelyn felt invisible, not because anyone had said it. No one had pointed a finger and told her she was fading, but she felt it. She felt it in the way people spoke past her at the grocery store. She felt it when young women talked about beauty as if it belonged only to them. She felt it when she walked into the salon and the stylist asked, without even looking up, the usual. And she said yes again, out of habit, out of exhaustion, out of fear of change. She didn't know when she started avoiding mirrors. She just stopped looking closely. Her reflection became background noise. Until one morning, quiet, unremarkable, she was brushing her hair like she had 1,000 mornings before. But this time she paused. Her hand, mid-motion, stopped. She looked at herself. Really looked. And for the first time in years, she asked herself a question that didn't come from fear or comparison or old habits. She asked, what would it feel like to see myself again? Not the version of her that was 25. Not the version her late husband once photographed on a beach vacation. Not the tired version she had grown used to seeing from the corner of her eye. But her, now, today, she didn't need a reinvention. She didn't want to chase youth. She wanted to feel present, seen, real. That afternoon, she called a new salon, one she had walked past for months but never dared to enter. It looked modern, filled with light and quiet energy. Not loud, not intimidating. Just inviting. She booked an appointment, just a consultation. Her daughter was surprised, her granddaughter squealed. And Eivelyn, she was quietly terrified, but she showed up. She sat down in that chair. She looked at herself in that massive mirror. And for the first time, she didn't say the usual. She said, I think I'm ready for something different. The stylist smiled gently and asked what she had in mind. Eivelyn didn't know the name of the style. She only knew how she wanted to feel. Lighter, she said, softer, alive. The stylist nodded and began. The cape was draped around her shoulders. The scissors came out. The first few strands hit the floor. It felt strange, final, freeing. As the layers began to take shape, Eivelyn could feel something shifting inside her, not because her hair was shorter, but because she had said yes to herself, not to what she used to be, not to what others expected, to herself. When the stylist turned the chair around for the final reveal, Eivelyn barely recognized what she saw, and not because the haircut was dramatic. It was soft, layered, simple. But it reflected someone who had been waiting quietly beneath the surface. Her eyes looked brighter. Her skin seemed to glow. Her smile, for the first time in a long time, reached all the way to her reflection. She didn't look younger. She looked awake, and that, my friend, is the magic. Because beauty at this stage of life isn't about pretending we're someone else. It's about allowing who we are to come through clearly, gently, powerfully. Eivelyn walked out of that salon not as a new woman, but as the woman she always was, finally shining through. Later that evening, she sent a photo to her daughter, then to her granddaughter. Then quietly to an old friend she hadn't seen in years. And one message came back that made her eyes fill with tears. There you are. Because sometimes that's all we need, to be seen, to be known, to come home to ourselves. One quiet decision at a time. Even especially when it starts with something as simple as a haircut. If you've ever looked in the mirror and felt disconnected from the face looking back. If you've ever wondered whether it's too late to start again. Let this be your sign. It's never too late, not to change, not to rise, not to feel beautiful again. The world may not always see us, but we can choose to see ourselves. And that's where everything begins. Are you ready? Because now we're almost home. And in the final part of this journey, we'll talk about how your next step doesn't need to be dramatic. Just intentional. We'll wrap this with clarity, confidence, and a quiet power that only comes with time. Let's walk that final step together. So here we are, 5 haircuts, 5 silent stories we've carried, 5 chances to look in the mirror and choose something different. But this isn't just about hair, it's about permission, the permission to evolve, to release, to renew. It's about the moment you realize that holding onto a style from decades ago is not holding onto yourself. It's holding yourself back, because the truth is, you haven't disappeared, you haven't lost your beauty, you haven't faded. You've simply changed, and now it's time for the outside to reflect the woman who's still here, wiser, softer, and more radiant than ever. If no one's told you lately, you are allowed to update. You are allowed to let go of what no longer lights you up. And you are allowed to feel beautiful today, not by turning back time, not by chasing youth, but by standing still, looking inward and asking, what feels true now? Because beauty at this stage isn't loud. It doesn't need approval. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to follow trends. It breathes. It knows. It walks into a room not demanding attention, but commanding it quietly. And if that's the kind of beauty you're ready to embody, if you're ready to cut away the old stories and step fully into who you are now, then I want to hear from you. Tell me, which part of this message spoke to you? Was it Eivelyn's moment in the mirror? Was it realizing you've been saying the usual for too long? Was it one specific haircut you're ready to release? Let me know in the comments below. Your voice matters here. Your story matters. Because Grace Over 50 isn't just a channel, it's a gathering place for women who still want to feel seen, still want to feel stylish, still want to feel themselves deeply, joyfully, unapologetically. If you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect moment. We have more stories to tell, more truths to share, more inspiration for women who are just getting started, even at 60, 70, or beyond. And if this message meant something to you, share it with a friend, a sister, a mother, someone who needs to hear that it's never too late for a soft reset, never too late for a quiet transformation, never too late for beauty. Because your best style doesn't live in the past. It lives in the choices you make today. The choice to lighten, to soften, to begin again, one gentle layer at a time, one intentional cut at a time, one courageous glance in the mirror. And so, as you move forward, let your hair move with you. Let it speak not of who you were, but of who you are becoming, because you are still becoming, and my goodness, you are beautiful. Thank you for spending this time with me. And until next time, stay graceful, stay present, stay you.